Hello everyone. How are you doing this evening? It is Adam and Katie, and we're showing you some pretty leaves here. Hey, welcome. We're going to turn around. Ah! Sorry. Hey there. Hey, I think I have to do this.
You have to, you can.
How are you guys all doing tonight? I'm going to try to show you, in a sleeping bag, but we're in our hammock. So Adam's mom made this handy thing where she, you can probably explain it better. What did she do?
She's cut a hole in the bottom of the hammock and in the top, or in the bottom of the sleeping bag, and in the top of the sleeping bag, and sewed some material around the hole so that it wouldn't fray and the filling of the sleeping bag wouldn't come out. But so then my sleeping bag, or my hammock, slides through the sleeping bag, and so you can sleep in your sleeping bag while you're in your hammock. So you can stay nice and warm and toasty, and not have to have your backside cold while you're trying to sleep in your sleeping bag in your hammock.
Very clever, huh? So, yeah, Adam and Katie read. I have a blog, katiemread.com, and on Wednesday evenings about 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we do Stop Hammock Time, and we talk about marriage tips, and we are glad you're here this evening. You know, as it gets, sorry about my hair again, as it,
they want to see you and not me.
Oh, come on. Okay, before we do this, we give marriage tips, is what I was trying to say, but as it gets colder, we might have to do this a little bit earlier, because it could be getting dark. Anyway. Oh, I think there's a squirrel. What is that? Was that a squirrel? Anyway, okay, so see Adam's beard here. See it? It's like getting curly down here. Maybe we can do it from the side. See this? Don't you think it needs to come up, you know, like this, and be close to his face? Show some hearts if you think it's time to trim the beard. We have a video on YouTube. If you look at AK Read, it's REID 1, you can see a video we did a couple of years ago called The Beard is Getting Weird. And I haven't said anything in a really long time, but the other day I looked at my hubby and I said, okay, it's time. But he's not necessarily agreeing with me.
You didn't hear all the wonderful comments and the encouragement and respect I was getting today at the youth leaders meeting based on
the beard.
The beard. And I learned a new term. This has nothing to do with marriage or
what we're going to talk about.
But I learned a new term. It's called lumberjack metro.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of this thing right now where flannels, skinny jeans,
and big beards
are kind of the thing.
So you're conforming.
No. This is man metro. Man lumberjack. Man lumberjack. There's no metro in it. Because you
don't wear skinny jeans.
I don't wear skinny jeans. And I don't wear pointy shoes.
True.
Not that there's anything wrong with these things.
If you do. But he does not.
But I do not.
And I'm pretty appreciative. And although a little tighter jeans would not be a bad thing.
And I do cut my own wood.
You do. So you are a lumberjack.
So I do have some lumberjack tendencies.
If you watched the scope earlier, I was tending to the fire, but my hubby told me it was a pretty lame fire and I need to do a better job throwing some more wood on. But I'm also trying to preserve the wood because you go through it fast and it's a lot of work. But anyway, that was a very long intro, because what we are talking about is when you are married, one thing we did not feel very prepared for was setting boundaries with extended family. Now, here's a disclaimer. We both have wonderful families. We have both our parents, our siblings, all that. They are fabulous. But because they are so wonderful, they want us, to be there when they want us to be there all the time. And so for holidays and that kind of thing. And so one of the biggest stressors in our marriage has been navigating that road because everyone wants us to be there. Right? Am I saying this okay? So every year it's stressful. And I have to remember, okay, it's because they love us and they want us to be around, but it can get a lot of pressure, because you can only be in one place at once. And sometimes you just need time with your immediate family, with your spouse and with your kids. And so that is a struggle, trying to navigate that. And I think one time we realized, because I'm a people pleaser, recovering people pleaser, and we had to realize that someone's always going to be disappointed. And more than one person might be disappointed. But we have to seek the Lord, talk to each other, be on the same page, Adam and I, and decide, what we can do. And sure, there's compromise or sacrifice, but we know our own family and how we have to manage our schedule so that we don't all fall apart, the parents included. And so we usually disappoint people around the holidays. And it's really hard because it doesn't mean we don't love our family, but we have to set some boundaries for that. And I'm going to let Adam chime in.
Yeah. Again, great extended families, but, and understanding that, it's great to all be together at the same time for as long as we can, but understanding that, our kids being on the road and away from home and the normalcy of home for long periods of time, people tend to start falling apart, us included. It's we do need the normalcy of home and just each other and the downtime. And when we go, and this is just our family, this is what we've figured out, but we tend to get on each other's nerves and get short with each other, and so sometimes we've had to say, listen, we can be here from this time to this time, but then we've got to be home, and it's disappointing. It's disappointing to us because we want to spend time with family, but we also have to do what's best for our family as well, and that's been a hard. It is. It's every holiday. It seems like it's the same stress again and again, and we've had to tell ourselves, when our kids are grown and they have their own families, we have to remember these things because we don't want to put on our children. We don't want to put the stress or the anxiety or the we don't want them to feel like they're disappointing us or anything like that. And so, when we are a little bit older and our kids have their own families, we have to remember these things that, of course we want to spend as much time with them as possible, but understanding that they have their own families and they are their own family, and they've got to make those decisions for themselves, and we need to respect those decisions. So.
It looks like you have an antenna coming out of your head.
I know, I noticed that.
So we're wondering if you guys have had challenges as well and how you have handled them. A lot of it too, I think, is just trying to be honest and communicate, reiterate, hey, we love you, we want to spend time, but
this is what we can do.
Yeah, this is what we can do. And, it takes flexibility. It takes compromise on everyone's part. We're both from big families, and there's a lot of people to consider, a lot of schedules, a lot of different travel and all that kind of stuff, and work schedules and all that kind of thing. And so, it is hard. We kind of done this when we were first married, where we had set... Maybe not when we were first married. When we first started having kids, we decided that on Christmas morning, we would just do that, just our immediate family. And if other people were there staying, that was fine. But we didn't want to be traveling. Maybe we'd travel that evening, but we wanted to be home. And but then we moved out to Arizona. And so...
the reason that we set that was because we kind of had this thing back and forth, and oh, you were at so and so's house last year on Christmas Day, and then you're at so and so. It's our turn this year to have you on Christmas Day, and it just kind of got to be kind of a big headache, and so we just said, no, you know what, it's just gonna be us, our immediate family, on Christmas Day. Later in the afternoon we may go someplace, but Christmas morning and around lunchtime, it's just going to be us. So
Yeah, and we had gotten away from that because we lived out of state, and so Christmas was the only time we came home the whole year. And so obviously we weren't going to, go to a hotel and say, okay, well, we're not going to see any of you guys on Christmas morning. So, but just this year we talked about we are doing that again. And it's not to exclude anyone or be weird, but it's just, we just want that peace and that time together. And like we said, if other people are here, that's great. But, anyway, that's just kind of what we've done. But it's tricky to navigate that. I know I have a sister-in-law and her parents are divorced. And so she has another family that she has to consider in the mix. And then there's more kids on that side too. So it can get really challenging. But I kind of wish that before we were married, we would have gotten a little more counsel about how to deal with this kind of stuff, especially around the holidays with extended family, because it's tricky to navigate and you don't want to sever relationships and you don't want to hurt feelings. But, ultimately you and your spouse need to be on the same page and make the decision you feel like is best and right for that year or for your family. So hope that encourages you. And I think the biggest thing is to keep communication lines open and to, with your spouse, and to hear each other's side of things and try to work out, a compromise that works for the two of you. And then to provide a unified front to your extended family, because if we're kind of not in agreement, then, that gets all crazy, so we try to talk about things ahead of time, come up with a plan we're both comfortable with, and then proceed from there. Anything else you wanted to say?
You're beautiful.
Oh, thanks. Well, we hope you guys have enjoyed this edition of Stop Hammock Time. And now we are swinging, so you might be getting sick, and I might throw up too, but that's okay because my hubby's wild at heart. So I hope you guys
That means stop.
Yeah,
Please.
Remember, did we talk about this earlier? Yeah, that's my code word for saying, awesome, please stop. Okay, anyways, this is Adam and Katie. I'm Katie from katieemery.com. I will be back here at 1:30 tomorrow for day, 15 of the restoration project. And thanks for joining us, and we will see you for Stop Hammock Time next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.